Welcome to Behind the YugiTuber, where we ask your favorite stars your questions. Tonight I have my second favorite Burning Abyss monster. Tonight I have Farfa. How you doing, man?
Calvin Tahan described me as his 9th favorite Burning Abyss monster.
Yeah, that's where I got the idea for the intro, because I was watching that stream. I was in the chat and I found that hilarious.
Star. I mean, wow. I think more like a cloud of gas is like I see myself more than anything.
Oh man, you're great. You're great. You're definitely better than me.
Happy to be here. It's a privilege to be on Cvit's. Is that how you say it, Cvit? Cvit?
No, it's Cvit. It's really dumb. I guess I haven't told anyone. I've behind like in an actual video of how I came up with my name. So I guess we'll take time to interrupt your stories by telling a shitty story of mine.
Cvit.
So one day I bought a drawing tablet to be an artist, and I was drawing with my foot one day, and I drew that. I wrote that. I was like, huh. You know, that's the least cringiest name I'm ever going to come up with, so I might as well use that. And
I thought it was a file type.
Probably is. Probably some Russian file type that no one uses anymore.
Russian.
Like all those fucking subbed animes. They're all in KVSs, and no fucking editing software supports that anymore. They literally use it because it's a high-definition, low storage space format.
Well, I don't know much about editing, surprisingly. It's one of my weaker points, which I think is a bit odd for YugiTubing, because like people kind of see my channel as like, oh, you put effort into like making your videos, and it's like, it's not really. It's just mashing some like MS Paint pictures together. Anyone can do that.
So I'm going to start off with the most basic question. It is, what wanted you to start making videos? Was there a certain channel you saw and was like, I can do that but better? Or was there just like a drive to be an entertainer or spread information that needed to be told?
I really don't know. It started in national season of 2014 when I just started going around collecting deck profiles and stuff from nationals, because I figured that would be a good springboard for getting views and stuff, and starting to like get subs would be like a big event, like a UK national event. I think I decided I wanted to do YugiTubing before that point, and I was just like, well, okay, so this is a good event to do it at. As for why, it's a little hazy. It's something to do with basically like there wasn't much like great quality, I feel, at the time. Like when I looked at, like, for example, like Vexicus was really big at the time. He basically reported on profiles and stuff, and I thought that was like, well, it's not like he did it badly or anything, but it was just like, you know, it just seemed so basic. It was just like, okay, here's a picture, here's the cards played, and yeah, 30,000 subscribers, come and like subscribe, see you later. So I was like, oh, okay, this looks easy. So I just tried to do that for a bit, and yeah, I figured that basically I could do it better, because when you look at a lot of the channels and stuff, and I remember Team Samurai at the time as well, I didn't like watch him, but like whenever I needed the profile, his channel would always pop up, and it wasn't anything spectacular. It was just like a camera, and here's some cards, and this is what I play, and here you go. I was like, oh, okay, this looks kind of fun.
Dude, he's got the algorithm down. He's got the best algorithm.
Oh, his algorithms must be sick, because he's like blown up so much over the years, like really fast. And I don't think he started that long ago either. But yeah, he's a good example of like, what's the word, like the technicalities behind YugiTubing, because like he like knew how to like market himself really well, and he knew like just how to advertise and how to get the videos out there into like the public and into popularity, which I guess I've never like really got or understood. I just kind of do what I want now.
I sometimes refer to him as like the Yu-Gi-Oh! PewDiePie, because he knows how to market himself so well. You may not like him, you may not agree with his content, but he knows how to get it to people, and it works.
I think Capital G's more like with PewDiePie.
I don't watch Capital G at all, so I cannot comment on
just
any
like
of his content.
Loud and slightly annoying. I don't know how to like describe it. Yeah, so I just started because I felt like, oh, I could probably do that better, and I've like always been really opinionated and stuff, and I felt like Yu-Gi-Oh was a really good place to like have opinions on cards and formats and interactions, and yeah. So I mean, obviously, I think most channels start off as like, here's a deck profile, but for me, it was always kind of like I wanted to like have my opinions out there, and I felt like I could break down arguments and stuff really well, and I was a student at the time, so I had a lot of spare time.
Yeah, I have a lot of spare time now, being a non-student, a non-worker other than YouTube, so I got quite a bit of time to complain about cardboard and a show that no one likes.
I'm in the same boat as well just now. It sucks.
I'm enjoying it. I definitely enjoy it more than, you know, serving food and washing dishes and shit. That fucking sucked.
That is true.
But you've made quite a few videos in your time, so what has been your favorite video so far?
Yeah, I think I'm at like over 1,000 at least. It's like it's hard to pinpoint any one, but I know that there is specifically one specific video I really like, specific style of video I really like, rather than pinpoint one. But a lot of my influences come from Grade A Under A, which I'm sure many people will know who that is on YouTube, and his argument videos, sort of like the exposed rebuttals and stuff, like I thought were really well structured, but also in a very entertaining and humorous way. So whenever so for example, the Azneyes one is a very big one on my channel. It's one of my most viewed videos, and it's like he basically said, "Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh takes no skill," and I basically refuted
everyone
that.
Cheats, you know, everyone just cheats. You and I cheat.
Yeah. So he made that statement or whatever, like, you know, whatever, it's his opinion. But I thought like the way I rebutted it was really good, and like
Very
the
well
way
structured, I must say, as a fan and a viewer.
yeah, like I think like, you know, when I was at university and stuff, like writing like millions of essays, like you're supposed to argue things in such a certain way, and that really helped me like structure like my video. Even today, like I always structure my videos in such a, I feel like, more coherent way. I think a lot of YugiTubers ramble a lot when they make videos, and they sort of jump from point to point, whereas like I have a strict script when I have a video. I have a beginning, an outro, a middle. And I think those videos were really good because they're very well structured, and I think that they aren't really biased or anything. There was many other videos like rebuttals against people like Snitch95 or whatever he calls himself now, Twiz, whatever. He was an asshole to me. So he made some like shitty comments about me or whatever. So I made like a really good video, and I think like I structured it well. Blah 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 blah. So I think like my videos have always been, those style of videos are my favorite kinds, because they're always like just organized well, and I feel like they get the point across, and they aren't very rambly, because they do come from a script, and they do come from this sort of like pre-made, like I know where I'm going with it before I've even like produced the video, whereas I think some people kind of just click start recording on OBS and they just kind of go like with the flow, which
That's
I guess
exactly
is fine.
what I do.
Yeah, which you know, for some people that works really well. Like it does, like some people are just entertaining that way when they are going off the top, but I think it can come out, it just cannot be, it can suck sometimes. I just prefer like the way I do my videos, which is like very scripted, organized, to the point. So yeah, those are my favorite style of videos. I just wanted to mention as well, something that came to my mind was I did a top 10 video, and a lot of my top 10s are like, they follow that same suit. So it was like, where are we? It was so I talked about the top 10 best staples that you can get in Extreme Force, and that video is 4 minutes and like 45 seconds long. So like 5 minutes, a 5-minute video, a top 10. It's 5 minutes. Like I'm not even
unheard
like,
of.
Sorry.
Unheard of. Top 10s under 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you know, I'm just trying to get, like, when I was writing the script, I'm just like, what are these other YugiTubers talking about? Like, they do top 5s that are like 15 minutes. Like, what are you saying in that amount of time that can't be said? Like, you know, and fair enough, like, people do need like the ad revenue and stuff, but the way I really like my videos is that they are pretty to the point, and they get you the information you want, and they explain my thoughts concisely and coherently, rather than just sort of, hey, what's up guys, let's talk about this tangent story for 7 minutes to draw out the time, and I don't know.
Yeah, I like to structure my videos. Like, I would like to have more structure. The way I go about it is just, I have a bullet point list, and then I press play, and then whatever just comes to mind, and then I just go with it, and then edit it down into like a nice, concise thing.
See,
but
DZ tells me that's the method he goes with, and I think that is actually a really good middle ground, where he has like notes, and they're like talking points, and you kind of just go through them one at a time, and then you speak, like, because it sounds a lot less monotone, and it sounds a lot less restricted, and you can obviously be more freeform, and there's, I guess, more entertainment value that way, perhaps. So I think that's a good middle ground, is just going through like bullet pointed notes rather than having like a full script. But I just find like I just go on such fucking stupid tangents when I do that, and it's such a mess to edit as well, because then it sounds weird because like your tone of voice changes depending on what you're talking about.
That shit drives me nuts. But I just like
Yeah.
sometimes it's just you can't get that perfect like revamp. So I'm just like, fuck it. I'll just hope people don't notice or don't care enough. And a lot of people don't give a shit or don't notice it.
Yeah, exactly. But for me personally, that would be a pet peeve of me if I was to go back and listen to my video and I would just hear my voice suddenly go like this. Oh, hello guys, welcome to this car. You know, I think it would just sound shit, but whatever. It's so much effort to edit to do it that way. I feel it's way more effort, and I like to cut corners.
I'm a lover of doing shit inefficiently. That's kind of like it's very backwards thinking, but I love art through adversity in a way. Like I see a lot of inspiration through the original like Star Wars films because those were a fucking train wreck for production. Or it's like I love ghetto rigging, as I call it, like just doing things the most unoptimal way, like old videos on previous channels where I like have like a strobe light effect instead of actually doing a strobe light effect because I was in a shitty editing software. I would go individually frame by frame, change the color overlay.
That sounds like hell.
Yeah, I had a lot of patience. I don't have that shit anymore, but
Jesus. I'm sure there's a genre of like music and film like where it's done inefficiently. Like, see when you read I don't know if you've seen The Room. I'm sure you have.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my
like
favorite
the backstory to the making of that film is just weird and bizarre. Like so much.
Absolutely, I love that shit. I went to like an early screening in New York City, and I blew a lot of money to go to like a fancy movie theater. And I got to go to McDonald's and got to watch bums get kicked out by policemen because they're harassing people. So that was fun.
What, to see The Room?
Yeah, to see the movie that was the making of the
Disaster
Artist.
Right. But yeah, like the making of that film has such a weird story. Like that I don't know. That just reminds me of like what you said there.
Yeah. So
anyway,
so with having a lot of videos, there's always the ones that you don't like or you wish you could redo. So if you could redo a video, what would it be?
Well, I mentioned it to you before we started recording, and it was the Monarch one, and it's so basically it's this video I made, and it's a guide on how to play Monarchs and how to build a deck Monarchs, and obviously this was before the structure deck was released earlier last year, I think. God, it's fucking all these formats just merged together.
I think it was 2 years ago now, because last year was all Zoo, so I think it was 2016.
Oh god, fuck yeah, there we go. Right,
we're in 2018 now. Holy shit,
getting old. I don't know, but yeah. So start of 2016, Monarchs were coming out with Emperor of Darkness, whatever it was called. So I just threw together a quick guide. Literally took me about 20-30 minutes maximum. And that's only because I was like just like I'm sure most of that was like the rendering time, if anything. And I just stuck it on YouTube, and here we go. There's a Monarch guide, and it like blew up to like 100,000 views or so, which at the time for me was like, well, even now 110,000 views would still be nuts for me. Like I just think that's crazy. And I wish it was like just better. Like you mentioned, I wish there was like a replace button, like we could keep all the views, keep all the comments and stats and stuff for the video, but just like make it better. Like it was it was completely unscripted, so it sounds weird because I'm editing it in such a way where like I'm cutting off myself from going on tangents and stuff, and it's just like 40 minutes of what the fuck is this. Like I did a guide recently on Skyfang Brigade. I went through every card and how to play the deck and the deck profile, and it was 11 minutes. And I go on like fucking Monarchs, and it's like 40 minutes or something long. So it's amazing in the sense that it's like great to see how far I've come in like learning how to edit and learning how to like just make better videos. But then also like it's kind of sad because I do regret it in the sense that it's not like I wasn't trying at the time. I think that's just how I made videos, and I thought that's all there was to it. But yeah,
we have a ritual question. I have a few, but we're gonna start with the first one. That is, what is your Yu-Gi-Oh waifu?
For fuck's sake, like, do you know what I hate most? Right, I hate like just like the two. Like this is gonna make so many people angry, but I just hate like the obsession with like this hentai like anime like culture.
I can completely understand that. I can see where you're coming from.
Oh, it's so cringy. Like, just go get a fucking girlfriend. It's so cringy. It's painful. It's so painful.
When you look like Shrek or like me, it ain't easy. you got ogerism.
You have a beautiful beard.
Thank you.
God, like, yeah, that's one thing I hated. Is like when I got into this like subculture of Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's like it's based off an anime, so it attracts a certain type of people, which is ironic because if you look at all like,
neckbeards.
If you look at all the types of people who like win YCSs and are like very famous for being good at the game, they're pretty well kempt people, you know. They don't look like they've just like crawled out of a basement like and bought panties out of a vendor. But anyway, to answer your question, I have no idea. I've never really thought about it. Like, if I try and like frame it in a better way, maybe like my most liked card that has a female on it. Like probably one of the ritual beasts. I think Lara. Like, I just like it because like one of the first decks I got quote unquote better at the game with was Fire Fist, and Wolf Bark was like broken in that deck. And Lara is kind of like a Wolf Bark, so she's cool. I like Lara.
Yeah. I never actually played against Fire Fist except for like a few times with a friend, but he had no idea how to play the deck at all. So I was like, what does this piece of shit deck do? And then I come to realize later on, and now that I have like studied the metagame, quote unquote study, but I'm like, Fire Fists were broken? I don't understand.
Yeah, I really like Fire Fist because I think I've thought about making this video like a million times, and I would call it Fire Fist, the greatest deck in Yu-Gi-Oh history. Because I think it is so fair. It is so fair. It's not broken, but it's not like shit. It does like,
it's not like Blue Eyes where it's fair, quote unquote, but by being fair, it's because it's an inconsistent mess.
Like, that deck is so good if it draws Soul Charge. Like, that deck was really good with 3 Soul Charge. Wait, no, it never had 3 Soul Charge. I'm sure there was like a crazy... Oh, before Master Rule 4, there was like really cool stuff you could do with Brilliant Fusion. But anyway, so Fire Fist is like so consistent, unlike Blue Eyes. But it's consistently like average and fair. It just doesn't do anything amazing. And I really love the deck. Like, not really, I don't like playing it so much, but I think like that it really boils down what Yu-Gi-Oh is. It's like these 1-for-1 trades, managing your resources, being able to recycle, having to read back row. It doesn't make like an insane board. I think like Rooster got emergency banned or whatever, but I'm more talking about 4-axis Fire Fist. Like, I just thought that deck was so fair. It's like trying to get like a little +1 here, a little +1 there. Yeah, I just think that's as like crazy as Yu-Gi-Oh should have ever went. But yeah, that's just a side point.
Do you really like Goat then? Because I know like Goat is really slow and methodical and a lot of thinking into it.
I have a Goat deck and I've played it a decent amount. But I think it's like a bit too slow because like Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of fun in the sense that it's not like Magic or other games where it's like I drew lands, pass for 5 turns, okay, and still like potentially win. You can do like so much broken fun stuff, but I think like I haven't played a lot of random formats, but my friend randomly just has 2 plant synchro decks, and that format's really fun. It's just like it's a good balance between like really broken. Because, like, you can OTK and plant synchro, but it's not like, you know, really easy because your opponent might have, like, a Thunder King up. They could have 1 back row. They could have Gores in hand. There's a lot of things to think about, but you can still do, like, kind of cool plays with, like, synchros and stuff. And, like, Tour Guide's, like, really good. And, yeah, there's a lot of reading involved. So I think it's like a very power creeped version of GOAT. So I do really like Plant Synchro format, even though I don't know anything about that format. I don't know what was legal. I don't know who topped that event. Probably Billy. I think that rings a bell.
I think Billy. I think Billy Break or Patrick Hoban. I remember watching like a handy cam recorded Cole 40 video back in the day. That's like in 144p. I could probably count the pixels. I'm pretty sure.
That sounds like so many of the old World streams I remember.
I tried to go back to watch them. I was like, what card is that? I can't see.
Just like from like a camera, basically like a phone perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that format seemed like it was pretty fun because it didn't do anything super insane. Well, it could do that's the thing. It could do insane things, but it was really hard because, you know, your opponent would have responses, and it just felt a lot more fair. And you did have to respect back row. You did have to respect hand traps. Whereas now you kind of like put all your eggs in one basket and hope for the best. So I do really like that format. It's probably one of my more favorite formats. Favorite format I've actually played in was like 2014 Hat, but I guess that's it.
Yeah, I really liked Metal Foes format, even though I didn't have like D Barrier or Eccentrics.
So late 2016 Invasion Vengeance.
Yeah, when I and then I switched to Paleo, and then I switched to Zoo, and then everyone had to switch to Zoo. I play like Metal Foe Zoo with nothing in it, and I was very budget at the time.
It's really random, but I've won a regional with Metal Foe Zoo. 60 cards. Bowden sent me the list the day before, and he was like, "Hey, I'm really fat." So I was like, "Oh yeah, you are really big." So I just played that. Shout outs to Bowden, DGZ Bots 5.
So would you say that the Fire Fist deck was your favorite deck though, or is that BA or Shadal?
Oh, definitely not. Like, I fucking hate that deck, but I just think it's like mechanically it's really fair, and it's like healthy from a game perspective and a design perspective. In terms of actually playing, like probably my favorite deck is easily like Infernity. Probably that, or maybe like Burning Abyss. But yeah, Infernity was really fun. That was one of the first format I played in properly and tried to like improve in was like early 2014, yeah, early 2014 into like Dragons of Legend. That period, those like took 6 months were amazing for me. It probably wasn't that great. It's only good because of nostalgia and because that's when you first start, kind of thing. Yeah. So I really like that, and Infernity was just so fun.
Do you enjoy that FTK? Were you gonna play that if it didn't get hit?
I don't think there was an FTK at the time. Oh, you mean currently?
Yeah, the current one. I'm talking about the current one.
I think that's so shit. But my opinions on the game have changed so much since then. And when I look back, I think Infernity is one of the worst designed decks ever because it's so terrible. Like the fact that you can just go first, win a dice roll, and then special summon literally like 40 times, and then set like double break, double barrier, and like have a full field of chains and archfiends, and like say to your opponent, "Okay, go." Like, that's so shit. Like, that's terrible, Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, that's so bad. But I enjoyed it at the time. I loved it. So that's why it's my favorite deck.
What is your least favorite deck to play against? Like, what is the one you're just like, Clifford? Okay, okay, thank you. Someone who understands. Thank you. Fucking hate that deck. One of my friends still plays it. I'm like, stop. Just stop playing it, Matt.
Yeah, just, what's the word? Floodgate style decks, I've just hated. I mean, Clifford had some more quote-unquote fun iterations where you could play like no traps and you could play storms and wavering eyes and turbo out like towers. Well, I guess in a sense that is a floodgate, but there have been cool quote-unquote cool iterations of Clifford. But I think Clifford is obviously famous for that triangle format: triple drain, triple skull drain, triple emptiness, maybe lose a turn, summon stealth, equip sacrifice pass. Like, that's what that deck's known for, and it's so fucking horrible. I just hate all the, what's it called,
iterations, or
not iterations of Clifford, but I hate all floodgate style of decks. So anything
just turn off the game. So I'm guessing you're not a fan of like Vanities and Majesty's Fiend.
No, like I just me and my friends have discussed this so many times on stream, and it's basically like anything in the game that stops your opponent from playing, I think should just be outright banned. Like, if it's for a turn, like, that's fine. Like, if there was like a Vanity's Emptiness, like, oh, you can't special summon that, even that would be probably fucking broken. Oh yeah, that does exist. It's called D-Barrier. That's like that's like not that bad. But if you just like, if we go back to like Clifford format and like you activate Emptiness with like a guy up, it's just so, like, at that point, it's not a case of me being the better player and trying to out-resource you and win and, like, stall and stuff. It's a case of, you know, can I roll a dice and happen to just draw this MST that I need? And I think that that's terrible gameplay because, yes, it is a card game, and yes, there is an element of luck, but when when the entire design of this duel now rests on whether or not I top deck this MST or Twister, I just think that's really, really bad game design, and I've just hated it. So any format that has had floodgate-based decks, you know, extra deck, well, not extra deck monarchs, the extra deck-less monarchs, I thought that was horrible. Cosmo aren't really a floodgate deck, but I feel like the way their monsters are designed are floodgates in a sense. Dart Destroyer being 3000 and untargetable did inhibit a lot of, like, deck building design. So you basically, when you went to a big event when Cosmo were popular, you couldn't really play any deck whatsoever that did focus on targeting. Yeah, I think floodgates are my least loved mechanic. I just despise the mechanic completely. I don't think it's good for the game. I think it's very unhealthy, and I feel like Cliff Forts are probably the biggest culprit of it. There must be something else, but I feel like
Ophion Turbo. That's one that comes to mind.
That's a little before my time, so I never got to experience the full brunt of that thing. But it sounds terrible. Like, oh, draw blaster plus fire or lose. And even then, they could have a set chalice, I think it was, or dress that protected it.
Yeah, it was Lance, I think. Wasn't it Lance? I don't know.
I think Lance, they had a themed Lance, Pandemic, but they had chalice, Forbidden Dress, which means your monster can't be destroyed. So, yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all. And that's just terrible, because it's like, you know, I just have to now rely on my opponent not drawing a card or to win. And I just think, like, you know, yes, there is an element of luck in Yu-Gi-Oh, but the game should be based around how good you are and you being able to beat your opponent and be the better player, which I think Floodgates remove that element completely, because it's a case of, can I draw that out that I know you're going to play, like Mistake and Necros. That's a good example. Like Clifford, Clifford didn't really play that. Shadal would play it. They'd play Mistake against Necros, and it's like, okay, well, you know, are you going to draw your MST? Are you going to draw your Ice Hand? It's a little bit, I just don't enjoy that style of gameplay at all. And some people would disagree heavily, but I think Floodgate, it keeps the meta in check. And it's like, oh, it doesn't, because MST keeps that fucking Floodgate in check. So, but yeah. Very, very passionate about Floodgates.
So you mentioned before you went to school and a bunch of other things. Do you find it hard to juggle your YouTube life and your regular social life and school?
So currently, I've actually just left halfway through my postgrad. I was training to be a teacher, and I just couldn't do it. It was just too hard. Like, to be paid so little to work like 14 hours a day or something, because you have to like go to school, teach the whole day, and then come home and then do more preparation and stuff. It was too much to deal with, so I couldn't handle it. But when I was like about halfway through my course, I had my first placement. So you'd actually go to a school and you teach for like 6 weeks. I was literally just waking up at 6 a.m., going to school, coming back home for like 6 p.m., and then having some dinner, maybe playing some Overwatch, and then like planning lessons until I had to go to bed. And it was hell, and I couldn't do it. And that was the most intense like 6 months ever of my life. And my YouTube channel reflects that, because if you go on the Social Blade and you look up my statistics for November, you can see that my subscriber numbers broke even. Like, I made 0 subs. Like, I was bleeding subs, and I was like gaining subs here and there throughout the whole month of November. Through the whole entire month of November, I made 0 subs. So evidently I could not juggle YouTube and work life at all. So I think Table 500 is a good way to well, at least at the time, I planned it as a way to be a good way to make videos while also having a lot of free time, because they're not hard to make. That's literally just click record and that's it. Talk over someone else's replay for 10 minutes.
They gotta be interesting though. Like the fucking, some of those replays are just like, I imagine the ones you haven't shown us, they're just like, what the fuck were you thinking when you sent this in to me?
I know, like for every one replay you see that's like amazing, there's like about 20 of them, and it's just like, okay.
Hey, Nadir, look at that! I outdid. Look at this! It's amazing. Please put it on the video.
Yeah, that's what a lot of them are. But yeah, it's really easy content. It's quick and easy to do and make. Because I mean, like, it's just elephant in the room. I'm just gonna say it. Like, it's basically other people's work, and I'm just like commentating it. So it's very easy, and I thought like I would need more of that as I was like in school, and if I was like working and stuff. Having that coming out daily would be really good, because I could just sit down with my friends over the weekend and just record for an hour, and that's me got a whole week schedule ready to go, kind of thing. So it was good that way, but I do like to do discussions and stuff like every day now that I am like currently like basically just looking for a job. Please, someone hire me. So I do have time to do other stuff and bigger things to come as well, hopefully, just as soon as January ends and we can actually start making money again, because the ad revenue is atrocious.
Yeah,
I think December was my best month ever.
I probably should have put out my new video. Or I looked at it, I'm like, I've made $8 on this. This took like 20 hours to make.
I know, like, oh, it's horrible. So
I sat here for 2 weeks editing this. I was like, this is gonna be my best video yet. And I'm like, $8. Yeah, I could go buy some nuggets at McDonald's. Nice.
Pretty much, like, so it's just so tough, like making videos at this point. There's no drive to make like really high quality videos at this current point in time, but hopefully over the next few months I've got like plans for big projects. So like people might have seen my Legacy of the Burning Abyss video. I want to do more like history videos like that. It's basically like a fucking documentary. lore videos is something I want to explore at some point and see how that goes. But the biggest project that I do want to do 100% is like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Guide on just how to like fucking not be shit at this game, because the amount of people that I see playing like one random like Twister in their decks and stuff like that, that needs to stop, okay guys? So I'm gonna make like a huge guide and like explaining like how to pick a deck for an event, what ratios you should be looking at, how to side deck. That's a big one that just isn't out there, like just how to fucking make a side deck. Like people know how, well, what to put in a side deck, but they don't know how to side deck. And yeah, so just like a huge guide is like something I'm definitely planning for.
I'm going first. I think I'll play Raigeki.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like, people need to understand. Like, you need to like not like it. It sounds like obvious when you say it out loud, but a lot of people just kind of look at Raigeki and be like, "Oh, it destroys a monster. That's fucking broken." And yeah, it's good. It's a really good card, but you know, it doesn't mean you put it in every deck in every scenario. Like for example, we did a replay recently, and it was Madoch, and it was like he's maining Raigeki, and like there's no other deck in the game that needs Raigeki less than Madoche. Like like that deck sucks, but Tiramisu, oh my god, like will never be.
She's still fucking amazing. Like yeah, she will never be power crept.
A non-targeted like shuffle of 2 cards, like that's why do you need Raigeki? Like why is that in your deck?
She's a
like,
better Ignister, but it's easy to summon.
Literally 2 Ignisters in one. It's so good. So you know, and that's an example of like people probably just innocently not understanding that like you don't need to play Raigeki in that deck because your engine is fucking better than Raigeki. So yeah, that's one of the kind of the aims that I have, is just get this huge like master guide out of like how to like explaining these kind of things to people. Like people don't really look at Yu-Gi-Oh as like, okay, this is a going first card, this is a going second card, etc, etc. Ratios are really important. So if you play a 40 card pendulum deck, you're going to need 36 monsters that are pendulum monsters, because you want your opening hand to be 80% pendulum scales, because that's how you play most pendulum decks. So these kind of concepts and things like that I want to explain to people and have in like video form. So that's like my future things and what I'm gonna do. It's just a case of finding the right opportunity. It's not a case of time and work and effort, because I'm working on it currently. It's just finding when the fuck I'm gonna release it, because yeah, I'm not releasing this fucking video that's taking days to make just so I can like make $8.
Yeah. On a side note, though, a while back, I was before I like had a bunch of views, I was contemplating taking the Legacy of the Burning Abyss video and dubbing over it, because I tried to show this to people who really like the game and really like Burning Abyss, but they're like, I can't sit through the voice, the text to speech. And I was like, no, it's not. I've watched it multiple times. I'm like, you're fucking dumb, but I understand why they don't enjoy it. So I was like, oh fuck, you're so stupid, but this video was so good. Why are you so dumb and won't listen to it? So I was like, I'm gonna redub it, but then I never did.
That'd be a really cool idea. I think that one of the reasons that people really hated that, and it was something that I did try for a while, because I did want to keep my identity super down.
I completely understand. I've contemplating doing that sometimes.
Yeah, it's one of my biggest regrets with starting YouTubing, was just not being anonymous. Yeah, I really wish I was from the start, but it's way too fucking far gone to do that. So that was like a horrible attempt at trying to anonymize myself, and it just happened to be a video I made during the period of when I was going through that trying to anonymize myself period. So it ended up having text to speech, which, you know, I guess a lot of people. I think like it's good in small doses, but probably for something that long, it is maybe a bit tough to listen to for 40 fucking minutes. But whatever,
I didn't have a problem with it, because I thought it was very interesting. But it's just like people are dumb and just write off videos without actually listening to what people say and just what they hear, or like
yeah,
very.
I don't know. I thought it was tolerable, but in the end, like if your audience and market base like doesn't, like even if it's like whether it doesn't matter how wrong they are, if there's a significant number of them, then it's probably like worth considering that maybe I shouldn't have done it this way.
Well, to loop back around about really shitty players, there's this question that someone asked me on Reddit when I made a post about questions for everybody, and he asked me to ask everyone this, and be sure to ask them, is why does his scrub friend think Grand Mole is still broken in 2018?
I feel like I don't. I mean, that has to be a joke, right? I mean, surely no one looks at Grand Mole and says, "Yep, that thing needs to go."
I don't know. People are really dumb, especially when I go to locals and I hear people talk, and I'm just like, oh, you know nothing of this game.
I guess maybe it's just like people look at it and go, oh, you know, you can just constantly reuse this every turn and just bounce a monster, but it's like people maybe just forget that Yu-Gi-Oh is like you get like 2 or 3 turns at best now, so you can't afford to keep bouncing and passing like with your only normal summon. But yeah, the fact that it's limited is very odd as well, because it's like they're acknowledging that it's not broken enough to be banned, but then again, apparently it's not too fair that it should be at 3. Yeah, it's weird. I think the limited list and semi-limited and limited list are just so pointless. I just don't get it. Like, some cards are just like Maxi being limited is just something that really infuriates me, because I think if you can't search non-engine unsearchable cards should either be at 3 or 0, because that way you can play around them and you can deck build around them. So like the fact that Raigeki's at 1 and Dark Hole's at 1 doesn't make sense. Like, shouldn't Dark Hole be at 2 and Raigeki banned? Like, it's just bizarre to me. So
would you want Foolish Burial at banned or 3?
That card should be banned. Like, graveyard effects are just insane. Like, what does it send? Any monster at all? Yeah,
it's any monster. It's any
crazy.
Monster at all. I know you've mentioned before you want Upstart banned.
Yeah. It's not broken or anything, but I feel like it just escapes like the gate. It's sort of like trying to just bypass the inherent like
limits of the
game itself. Yeah, like obviously, like, yeah, it was like really good in Chicken Game and stuff, and Magical Explosion or whatever that deck was. But the fact that you can just play a card that reduces your total card count is just amazing. And again, this is why I want to do the master guide and explain to people these things. But some people like don't play Upstart, and it just doesn't make sense, because there's only so many cards in your deck that are very good. Like, there's probably only a few cards where you could look at and be, I want this at every opportunity, anytime, ever. Is just amazing. Like, I don't know, current format, what would you talk about? Probably Skull Combat Joker. So like, why would you not want to like get that faster? Then obviously
that would make sense.
Upstart.
That would make too much sense, actually.
So like, playing less cards means you get to your more...
Sometime I want to see it, sometime I don't.
Pretty much, right? It's like, you want to get to your best cards as fast as possible, because they're your best cards. Like, they're your best cards. You put them in your deck because they're amazing, and you want to see it as fast as you can. So what's the best way to do that? Well, you play less cards. So, and I feel like Upstart bypasses that, because it's literally a card that said that trade this card for the next card in your deck. That's all it does. It's just skip this card, and I think that's just inherently like poor for like card design for the game. The people can say like the life point cost is relevant or whatever, but it's not. It's really not.
It's not. We're in 2018, people. Life points mean fucking piss nothing.
Yeah, like the life point thing would probably, I don't know how relevant it has ever been. It's just like,
I guess when Judgment was around, not even.
I don't even know, but basically, like, the only life point that matters is the last one. So it doesn't matter if you've won by 1 life point or 9,000 life points or 12,000 life points or 1,000,000. Like, when
I think
you win,
anything under 1,500 matters, because then you can't activate Strike.
Yeah, exactly. So turning off your Solemns would be like the only risk. But so yeah, you can. Oh, that's like one more monster they can summon off Soul Charge. That's what people used to say during. When Soul Charge was released. It's like, that's another monster they can summon from their grave. And it's like, well, true, but then you're going to see your Soul Charge faster than they are. So that's the way I look at it. But yeah, I just think that card like bypasses the game mechanics, and it should just be banned, because it literally is just trade this card for another card. And 1,000 life points is not like too much of a cost to ask for.
Sometimes when I'm playing like really shitty rogue decks, like Satellar Knights on YGO, I'm just like, God, I fucking wish either Rhoda was at 3 or Upstart was at 3, just so I could not brick and like get more consistency for shitty cards. Like, sometimes I wish there was a ban list for specific decks, like, oh, you can't use Gear Freed in a deck that has Butterfly Dagger Elma, stuff like that. I think that would be interesting, but it would be very difficult to enforce, and I understand why it isn't existing, because I feel like you could add more diversity to the ban list if you did that.
That is interesting. But yeah, it would be really weird to police, I think. And
like at events, people will be like, especially if someone didn't know about the ban, like certain ban list cards. Like, I feel like you could easily win a YCS, like not easily win a YCS, but easily take matches off people at a YCS if they didn't know. Like, oh, you can't have this in this deck because it's broken, because not everyone keeps up with everything. Like, look at the best players; they don't even read what's coming out until like it's already out, and unless it's good. Look at Calvin. He's like, I don't know what this card is. You're like, Calvin, this is broken. He's like, what?
One of the, I think, one of the coolest create a mechanic style things that someone's suggested to me was Patrick Coben, when he said that it would be cool that if you could utilize your side deck more actively in a duel. So, for example, you could Brilliant Fusion, send Garnet from your side deck. That would be a good sort of implement to the game. And
That'd be interesting. I think that'd be pretty cool.
yeah, it could be really broken though, because there's like so many decks that do amazing things that, and I'm sure everyone has just seen randomly on YouTube.
It wouldn't be the side deck; it'd be the brick deck. It would just
Yeah,
be put
exactly.
all your
So,
bricks
like,
in there.
So the biggest problem with some of these decks is like, oh, but you need to play like 12 Garnets. So you solve that by just putting it all on your side. So it could be a bit abusable. Maybe they could put a limit on it or something. But yeah, I thought that was really
five
cool.
cards, maybe. I think that'd be fair. Like 2, 5.
Yeah. So like Rota for something, and activating Rota and then searching something out of your side deck instead, for example, that could be kind of cool. I thought that was like a really good idea.
That'd definitely add an extra layer of complexity to the game, which I would definitely love to see them implement or experiment with. But they're very set in stone with adding and removing new things, so I doubt they'd ever do something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So who knows what they're gonna do next? Because they're kind of backed themselves in the corner with Lynx somewhat.
Yeah. It's how long has it been? Like basically, like say half a year or something, and I'm still
It's
not
been like
sold.
6 months.
Yeah, I'm still not super sold on Lynx. It's just like I actually made a video about it today, and basically TLDR, like you need to play these monsters that just create more zones. That's really all they are. They're just zone makers, and it just doesn't feel fun when you're playing like, I've been playing Zephyr recently, and like that deck fucking sucks, and it sucks even harder because you can't just pendulum like into like multiple zones. You have to like make a monster that lets you create zones, and then next turn you can pendulum into those zones. It's just really clumsy.
I miss going into Utopic Future with 2 Dantes. I miss that. That was fun.
Yeah, that's
do that
basically
shit
what it's like,
anymore.
right? But yeah, it's weird. I just think that Lynx were, they had to do something new and unique.
Yeah.
I feel like that was maybe perhaps one of their ways of doing damage control for pendulums, because Metal Foes being able to just blow up their scales multiple times and then just bring everything back for free fusion fodder every single turn. It's not like, Metal Foes weren't like tier 0 or anything, but like just inherently, like that is really good, because like so people complain about soul charge for so long, and now Konami made a mechanic that like is a soul charge. Like pendulum, for all intents and purposes, a pendulum summon is a soul charge that you can use every turn.
They did have to do something, because the fact that people can just go, okay, my turn starts, I draw, okay, pen 5, okay, you're dead, good game,
Yep.
shake my hand. I don't think that's healthy at all. I think pendulums are too far, I feel. And then I feel maybe Lynx could have been neat. Like I enjoy playing a Link deck. Like I enjoy playing Spiral, but I don't enjoy playing like Fluffles and Lynx. I think that's a pile of shit. It could have been interesting, like having like Lynx not inhibit extra deck, but just like Lynx did things with the arrows, kind of like how like Viral needs to be co-linked, like a co-link mechanic instead of like limiting everything else.
I think the biggest issue with the release of Lynx was that number one, they needed to make generic Link 2s way faster. So like they needed to release Landfall Incus instantly. They needed to release like Underclock Taker instantly. That would have helped like so many older decks. Just because like Decode Talker is as generic as you can get, but it requires 3 monsters, which is like a big difference than 2. And also more legacy support for Lynx might change my mind. Like I could totally love Lynx if we get like a really good like Zephyr Link. Oh wait, we do have a Zephyr Link. It's fucking trash.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could get more legacy support, but I want it to be good. That Evil Swarm Link is fucking garbage. That Hero Link is pretty shit.
There's a Evil Swarm Link that sucks. The Zephyr one is terrible. Even the Ritual Beast one I think is pretty underwhelming, and I love that.
From what
deck.
I've been told, I'm not a Madolche player, but I do have an interest in the deck from people that I've talked to. They're like, yeah, the Madolche card doesn't do what we need it to do to be good.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but yeah, exactly. It's not what the deck needed. And it's the same with the Ritual Beast one, I think. It's like, it's not terrible, but it's not what the deck needed. What that deck needs is ways to get to a Ritual Beast and a Ritual Beast Tamer on the field as quickly as possible. And the Link doesn't help that because, well, you're making Kanahawk at this point. What do you need the Link for, basically?
God, I fucking hate that deck so much. Like, the mechanic that gets under my skin, like you hate Floodgates, I hate decks that play around Banish. Banish should be like this card is done for the duel. You can't touch it anymore. Don't look at it. I don't know. That's a very old man way of thinking, but like, ritual beasts make my head hurt. Like,
well, I mean, like 10 years ago, people probably said the same about the graveyard, right? Like, that's it, it's done. This is the graveyard. I was like, oh, great. Burning Abyss don't care.
I find but the interesting thing is like graveyard. There's a lot of cards that deal with the grave. There's like only so many cards that deal effectively with banish that like don't you have to run, but they're like dead. Like let's say Burial from a Different Dimension. Like, yeah, it's good to help like fight against ABCs because they tag out, and then you just like fucking shift them into the graveyard so Buster can't tag out again. But then like I'm forced to play fucking Burial. Like this is a brick basic other than this, so it's kind of annoying.
It's really weird because it's like the banish zone is like it's basically just a second graveyard. It doesn't like. It just acts as a second graveyard. Look, cards that say, "Oh, special summon a monster from your banished zone," is basically just saying like, it's not. It's just special summon it from graveyard 2, really.
Yeah, it's second graveyard, aka third hand.
Yeah, and so decks that rely on being banished or rely on like the banished mechanic, like Ritual Beast or the Weather, they're going to interact with that zone regardless. So it's not like it is removed from play because it's not removed from play. It doesn't like. It's just weird.
And now, yeah, they had to add the banish face down to deal with shit.
Yeah. So I think that is one way they've done it is like when the like you can't interact with face down cards. But
they need to make a third zone. Just you can't touch this zone. This is a done. It's a penalty box.
I think all the Skyfang Omega like doesn't even care about.
Yes, Skyfang Omega is a card I do want to go to 1 or banned or be gone.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous because you can desires for like and banish like a Fairy Tale Snow, and then like Skyfang Omega can put it back to your graveyard even though it's face down, which is silly. I've argued
really
for that card for going to 1 as well, just because like taking a card out your opponent's hand is like that's like a slippery slope. But then like the fact that like you can do it multiple times and then DDR him back and do all these Synchro Fusionist combos back in the day and then just loop for like 5, it's silly.
Yeah, there is some stun decks out there right now that are like all around just shitting out 3 Omega and a Trishula and a Gothams, and your opponent starts with 1 card. Like I don't find that really healthy. I can't fucking stand that, especially when everyone's just like I was planning on making a video about this, but I don't think I'm going to, where it's like every extra deck mechanic now post links is like kind of relegated to like a role. Like I see like XZs are like utility, so you have like your Baguska, your Princess Sprite, where they're just like, oh, they do this to help you, and then like fusions are kind of your aggressor cards, where they're just like, oh, they push for game, like the Metal Foe fusions, and then you just have synchros and it's just Omega. It's a
pretty random effect. Yeah,
it's like just the only synchro anyone plays is Omega, and if it's not Omega it's Trishula, which does the same fucking thing.
Yeah, I don't know, I can't think of any like more generic synchros because I think everyone's playing Omega because of Gamma, but
Stardust, I guess, because people are playing like
it is really generic. But in Magicians, like harmonizing, you
or not Stardust, Black Rose.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Just depends on the deck, I suppose, with levels. But I think the most played is definitely like Omega these days, and then probably like Stardust, maybe Scarlight, and like what's that deck called?
Zombie decks, zombies,
Zombie Lightsworn and stuff. But yeah. Did you have more questions, by the way? Because we kind of like talked like randomly for a while.
Yeah, I actually have like a shit ton of questions. This is the longest I've ever gone with somebody without like burning through all the questions.
Let's fire through them.
Or I'm like, oh god, I'm nervous, I'm running out of shit. But so what is your unreasonable ban demand? What is the one card that just like makes you want to fucking kill somebody? Like during Metal Foes format, I didn't have Eccentrics, and Eccentric made me want to die, so I wanted Eccentric to die.
Wait, so are you asking a ban that took place that pissed me off, or
no? What is something you want to be banned, but it's completely unreasonable, and everyone will be like, "What the fuck are you on about?"
I mean, basically every floodgate in the game, but I guess like that's an extreme ban list. I don't know. There's nothing that really makes me go, "Oh, I just wish it was banned." I think just oh wait, yeah, Maxi, yeah, I wish that was just banned. Like I just wish it was at 3 or 0. Is that too much to ask? Like, at least if it's at 3, I can, like, actively play around it. But, you know, if it's at 1, it's like, oh, you drew it. Like, well, okay, no fun for anyone. So, I wouldn't say that's irrational, but yeah, that card like just pisses me off. On the flip side though, like the one ban that really pissed me off was Denglong.
Yeah, as a Zephyr player, I can understand that.
Because Denglong it's a really good card, it's amazing, but I mean it didn't, like, in context to when it was banned, it didn't do anything. Like they hit it preemptively.
Yeah,
and I don't agree with preemptive
because you
hits.
see all those OCG loops with it, and I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, like, unless it's an FTK, I don't see like why there's preemptive hits. You know?
Yeah, they didn't want to make like unbreakable link boards, I guess, or something. Who knows?
Because that's just such a slippery slope. Because it's like preemptive hits. Well, okay, well, are you just gonna preemptively hit every new deck that's ever gonna come out? Like, why did you have to hit Denglong just because? Well, I think dinosaurs were coming out at the time.
Maybe consider then not making it that broken.
Oh my god, exactly. Just like don't fucking print it in the first place. Like, if you're gonna do that.
If you need to make a card like evenly matched because your game is so fucked, then don't fuck it to begin with.
Yeah, that's a good example of how what the fuck happened in Pepe format. Was like they printed all these broken cards and then limited like all of them like 13 days later.
Oh man, fuck that deck was something else.
I mean, I don't disagree with it being hit, but like fucking hell, like why'd you make it in the first place?
Yeah, why did you make it this strong?
Yeah, because so many people just had to like just lost money, like
lost $500. I know people who got their deck stolen, and then worse comes to worse is they're like they bought it back and then it died.
Oh god.
That man quit the game. That poor soul. He was like, yeah, I'm fucking done for a bit.
I don't blame him.
He walked into the sea like Odysseus' wife, and he was just like, yeah, I'm done. I can't deal. He went to a poor, I think he went to an ARG, and he just like his thing was stolen from his car, clearly from somebody at the event, and knew he was playing Pepe. But yeah, poor soul, level. Poor soul. Someone
stole my extra deck for Infernity during 2014, which was really big back then because that deck didn't need just one Exaton, it needed 2 Exatons.
And it needed Lavavel Chain.
Yeah, playset of Lavavel Chains, that was a lot of money back then. It was dirt cheap, like, for the main deck, but wow, like, you needed 2 Extons, 3 Chains, I think Honor Arc was, like, money as well.
Yeah, that was before the reprints. That was when it was, like, an Ultra.
Yep. So, that was really, really bad at the time, but I was a student, and we get money for being a student in Europe, so it wasn't
that's
that bad financially. But I can imagine if, like, that was anyone else, like, or who wasn't a student, or an American, like, that would just be the fucking most devastating thing ever.
Yeah, I was always super scared after I bought a Toad. That was the most expensive card I paid for a while. I bought like a Toad to play Heroes. And I bought it was like $40, and I was like so paranoid. I was like, I do not want to get this card stolen. Please, God, don't let this card get stolen. Well, what has been your worst purchase that you did you ever invest in like a prize card, like a spicy tech that just like fell straight on its fucking face?
Financially, the worst purchase I ever made was Max Rarity Fire Fist. That was stupid. Spirit just came back to 3. But it didn't matter because it was still fucking Necros format. Why did I think Fire Fist would be good? I don't know. Ulti Tankies, yeah, they weren't cheap. Ulti Bears, and yeah, that was my worst like financial investment. In terms of like calls and stuff I've made, I've said a lot of wrong things over the years. I've said when Rat went to 2, I thought Zoo would die. Very, very wrong. Like so wrong. Like very wrong.
I thought that would be able to put a leash on the deck, but no, that made people innovate and find more broken shit than when it was at 3.
It was just crazy. So good. That deck was so good. Fusion Sub-Zoo was with 2 Rat, so I was very wrong. I was wrong about... I actually can't think of anything else. Like, nothing major, I suppose.
Well, what was the deck that you predicted to flop, but it was actually really good, other than the Zoo, like we just said?
I didn't expect Monarchs to be as good as they were.
I can see that.
Yeah, like, in hindsight, like, a non-targeted, like... spin off Erebus, like Stormforth Erebus, like is the easily the most like broken combo in the game ever made, and like I just mean like from a strictly like in a vacuum, like obviously like 6 Sense and shit like that, you know, there's so many dumb combos you could do, but in terms of just like practically and what was legal for so long and what was most impactful to the game, like Stormforth Erebus just deals with anything and everything ever created, so that was crazy. I don't know how I didn't see it, but like wrong or anything. I just didn't expect them to be that good, and I 100% didn't anticipate them to play a fucking extra deck. Like what the hell, that just didn't make sense to me, but it worked. Like what the fuck, like it was arguably better. So yeah.
there was a time right after links were introduced that I went to a local, and there was one of the YCS commentators, Michael something. He's one of the Americans. He does like all the commentary at Japan, and he was talking to the vendor there, and he was like, "Hey, you got any pendulum stuff?" Because I think pendulum's going to be really good after the ban list. And I just like chuckled to myself. I'm like, this guy's a fucking idiot. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I was like, pendulum's going to be terrible after links, and boy, did that blow up in my face. Was I wrong?
Yeah. I don't know how you thought that. Like, what?
I don't know. I was like, nah, man, you can only summon one. I just didn't think too hard. I just didn't use my noggin.
Yeah. On the flip side, people always rag at me and say like, oh, you were wrong about Cosmo. You said Cosmo was gonna suck, and it like did really well. Well, it did do really well in summer 2016.
And then it instantly died.
Well, yeah, when they hit Dark Destroy. But much before that, in Bosch, they got Tin Can and they got Cosmojo. And I made a video saying like, these cards are dreadful and they are so bad, and they were like in context to the time, which was full power Pepe. Okay, Cosmojo isn't going to cut it, you know, an end phase Spellbook of Crescent isn't going to cut it against Luster Plushfire and all these crazy things.
Yeah, but Nadir, you're expecting me to read the comments and look at what day this was published on. That's too much for me to do.
So many people bring that up and they're like, oh, you were so wrong about Cosmo. I was like, no, I wasn't. The deck did nothing. It got one top out of 32 at YCS Atlanta, and Pepe got like 28 or something. Like, I'm very clearly not wrong here. So, yeah, people, you know, forget basic things like a ban list, but whatever.
Why didn't you include this in the best card of this deck?
It wasn't out yet. Like, when you watch old deck profiles, you scroll down, and I'm just like, I'm trying to think of an example. It would be like imagine if Zoo was split into two sets, and people were like, why are you not playing Fire from... Or not, they're like, why are you not playing Chakanai? Oh, yeah, it was. And they're like, it wasn't out yet. People are so fucking stupid, dude. Holy shit.
In the video I made a few days ago on top cards from Expo, one of them was Underclock Taker. So it's a generic Link 2 that points down, which is what we needed for a very long time. And then someone commented saying, like, why Landphalankus is much better. It's like, yeah, but it's not out yet.
We don't even know when that card's coming out here.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I'm sure someone commented on my Zephyra combo guide saying like, oh, why aren't you playing Needle Fiber? And it's like, it's not out yet. Some people, man.
I think that the best 2-card combo in Zephyra is using Needle Fiber. What's this? This video was published in 2016 and links weren't even known yet? What do you mean? I had to type a 10-page essay?
I think some people wake up in the morning and they just ask themselves, like, what am I mad about today?
Oh, dude, like, it gets me a little tight, gets me tilted, gets me, my gym jams rustled.
I always try and tell myself, like, you know, you can't be mad at people on the internet because... man waving
sure
fist
you
at
can.
cloud.
I get mad at people. I get mad at them all the time, especially in my comments section.
Yeah.
I don't reply to them, but I sit there angry. I'm just like, oh, please listen to what I actually am saying. Oh my god.
Comment debates, the life of YugiTubing.
So, speaking of YouTube, what has been your favorite thumbnail you've made so far?
Thumbnail? Jesus. Yeah, I think I remember it was a deck profile for Duncan. So I don't know if anyone knows Duncan. He's just like my silly squeaky friend who's like notorious for just playing like really stupid decks. Like, for example, his latest creation was Lightsworn.
The Duncan control.
Yeah, Lightsworn, Phantom Knight, Paleozoic.
I really want to try it.
He's literally just it's surprisingly really good, by the way. So he's just known for like these stupid things. And I'm just trying to find it. I think it was a DDD profile. So I spent like more time on the fucking thumbnail than him. Oh yeah, I found it now. It's privated because it's one of my older videos, but it's just him like his face photoshopped onto like a ferret like floating through space, and it's just like, yeah, or just all these random like memes, and it was so dumb. But yeah, I spent like.
How did you convince the man to go and take Zoo to a tournament post Zoo ban list?
I don't know, like he's just such a meme. He's always played like these silly decks, and like not even like serious like as a joke. He's like seriously just played these decks. Like for nationals, was it Monarchs and Cosmo and BA were like the best decks. He took Beatrice Turbo.
Yep, classic.
I don't know. Let me just make 3 Beatrices turn 1. Apparently that's like good, and that's another example of those decks that play like 12 Garnets. So Yeah, I think one day in like early or late 2014 or early 2015, I just turned around to Duncan one day at locals and I said, "You're really marketable. I'm gonna make you a meme on my channel." And he was like, "Oh, okay," and he just became like this meme. People like him more than me. Like people literally just say like, "Can we get a Duncan profile or something?"
Do you remember what his result was for that tournament by any chance?
With Zoo.
This Zoo stun or whatever the fuck he ended up playing.
That was YCS.
I think it was YCS London, I want to say.
Maybe.
I could be wrong.
Oh, so what happened was I posted. Yeah, I just remembered I put the fucking phone call on YouTube.
I know.
I just remembered. He ended
up
up
like at a party or some shit.
Yeah, he ended up playing some stupid Invoked hand trap deck, which Ed Exception actually ended up topping YCS Seattle or something like that with the following month. But yeah, he ended up not playing Zubo's ban list, surprisingly.
Oh man, I'm disappointed.
I don't know when you're planning on releasing this video, but if it goes out today or whatever, tomorrow my next table 500 is Zoo Zombies, because you can do this thing with Soul Absorbing Bone Tower and summon every Zodiac in the game under Zombie World, which they count as zombies, and you just deck your opponent out with Bone Tower. It sounds, yeah, it's terrible. It's so bad. Just end like your turn with like a Borbo with like 9 materials, and your opponent like draws for turn. Oh wait, I can't draw. I've been decked out. Woo!
I have a video that's sitting on my camera where it was at 2 a.m. at my old house, where it was just me and my friends. We were drinking, and my friend just sporadically was just going on a rant at how he could get 12 material Borbo and win a game. Mind you, he was just rambling bullshit. He was like, "All right, so you're playing Lyrilusks. So you start that one." I was like, "Robin, how do you even summon this?" He's like, "No, just hear me out." When the man says "hear me out," you know you're in for something really stupid.
I think everyone has that kind of friend that everyone has their own Duncan of just like, yeah, dude, trust me, like this combo, like, oh, it's so good, like, and it's just the worst
right now he's playing Invoked, where his goal is like Brilliant Fusion, make 2 Macabas, make VFD pass.
VFD with what? 2 Macabas?
2 Macabas, yeah.
But I'd rather just have Merkaba at that point.
No. He's got a VFD call Earth or whatever. Because of Spiral, and he just passes. People
Macaba's
shit
not
their
even
pants.
once per turn. Like, that's so much better.
Yeah, people shit their pants at the idea. They're like, he made VFD. Then they're like, wait, this board isn't nearly as good as Double Macaba.
Good on you, Robin.
What is the best BA monster, and why is it Drahig?
I actually tried this thing with Dragig where you'd stack your deck with the BA monster, and then like you mill with Dante, because you've basically put your Graff to the top, and then you can I think it puts other BA cards as well to the top, like the Spell and Trap, so you can put Good and Evil to the top. I think, I'm not 100% sure. I think we tried something like that back like when it first came out, and it was just like, it was really on the way. I don't even think that one's the worst one. Well, I mean, it probably is.
What would you think is worse, Caliga?
Yeah, I think like bouncing a back row is terrible, but like it's always fine as like a one-off that you can just set in the end phase with Beatrice. But yeah, Dragig was really disappointing. I really wish that just actually I can't think of a way to make it fair. It's a very like fine line with BA, like, because those cards are just like one like condition or one colon away from being broken. So I don't know. Yeah, Dragig is definitely the worst one. And I think even if you're just playing names, then you wouldn't even go to Dragig, which sucks. So I think every BA ever has been played like in a topping deck except Dragig. I don't think I've ever in my life seen Dragig in a top deck list.
It's unfortunate because he's cool looking, but boy, does that effect not good. So what has been your favorite event you've gone to so far?
I think Euros 2015 when it was like Monarch Cosmo format. So Joshua Schmidt, when I was on Complexity Card Gaming at the time, he came up with this like really amazing pendulum deck, and it was just basically like 3 Bumbuku, 3 Kirin, and the rest were just Odd Eyes and Performance Pal cards. It was just really good at the time, and I had Sky Iris, so it was amazing for going second. You could just Odd Eyes Fusion versus BA, and like it was so strong. And it just shit on BA so good because like Kirin is broken, and PK Fire was huge at the time. It was so huge, like everyone was playing it. Everyone was playing PK Fire, and if you weren't playing PK Fire, people were playing Monarchs because that was like the best matchup for it, the best way to beat it. So we were like so hyped because it's like, oh man, this deck just auto wins versus like the best deck in the format, and it has a really, really strong Monarch matchup. Like you could do this really cool play where you could make Photon Papal Operative and put their Prime to attack, and then attack with Odd Eyes and use the Odd Eyes Unicorn in the scale, and that's like 8k damage. It's so fucking funny, like just doing like, because Odd Eyes does like double damage, and then like the scale boosts it by a certain amount, and I think it was literally just game by itself. But yeah, so it was really good against the best decks. So I was so hyped for it, and I was so excited for it. And I tested so much. I practiced online. I played a lot. And I was like, okay, that's it. Like, if I have the deck winning list for this YCS. It's just a case of going through the motions and like trying to get as far as I can, as far as my personal technical play, as limited as it is, can get me. I felt like I was really ready to top my first event, and it was a disaster. Round one, I didn't play any of the matchups I wanted to play. That was the issue, and it was just really disheartening. Because round one I played against pure speedroids.
What?
Pure fucking speedroids. It sounds terrible. Do you know why? But do you know why it was broken? Because they make Totem Bird and they set anti-spell and you can't fucking do anything. So that shit's on Pendulum. So I lost to this random speedroid deck round one, and then that's the biggest problem with the YCS. Like, if round one is the most important round after like the bubble. And people really underestimate round one, because like if you lose round one, you can just be paired against dog shit for the rest of the day. And your plan is just your meta call, your like genius like side deck for the meta, and your meta call main deck tech cards is just down the toilet, because you're going to play dog shit for the rest of the day, and none of those cards are going to work. And that's what happened, and I lost round one, so I got paired against anti-meta decks for the rest of the day. And Pendulum cannot beat anti-meta. It's just, well, it can, but it's just struggles so badly. So I just played Cliff Forts for the rest of the day. I played Cosmo for the rest of the day. But it was still my favorite, because it was like, you know, it was the one event where I really put everything I had into. I just every day I was testing so much. I was talking to Josh every day about different cards to play, just really trying my best. And I ended up flopping, and it was really, really, really upsetting. It was so upsetting. To like put that much effort in and just be paired against dog shit all day. I think I played one BA player, and that was the goal. And if anyone watched the stream of that event of Euros 2015, the deck representation was a third PK Fire, and I played one all day, and I 2-0'd them in like 10 minutes. And it's just it was just so upsetting.
Oh man, I'm about to go to my first YCS in a few weeks, and I'm just like, oh man, I can't wait to go there. And it's a new meta like shift because of Expo, and I'm ready to play 10 hours of Pen Magicians, guys. I'm ready to fucking die. Fuck that deck. I hate that deck. I don't know though,
because it's like banless, maybe not. Because Spiral is just still really strong. If
I hope like, spirals don't die, because I just like bought a bunch of cards for it. Like I bought like Ningarasu and a bunch of side deck stuff to play Go Second Spiral. So
if they don't touch Spiral, it's legitimately like the best deck. Like it's not even a contest. It shits on Magicians so easily.
Yeah, it's just like Magicians is my mental block deck. I look at that and I just like, I'm going to lose.
Well, and best advice I give to anyone going to the event, like if you really want to do well, if you really like the format, like just practice and practice and practice. This is every event I've ever gone to, I've just never been prepared. I've just never practiced enough. I've just played some meme deck. And that one event of Euros was probably the one event I can say 100%, yep, I 100% like gave it everything I had, and I just fucking didn't even make it past fucking like round like 8 or something, or round, I don't know what the final round of day 1 basically. I think I lost like the final round of day 1, so I couldn't day 2, and it was just so shit.
Do you ever regret establishing your channel as a Yu-Gi-Oh channel? Would you rather have been established in like, let's say, games or something else?
Yes, YouTubing is not lucrative, and it has a very low ceiling for how far you can go. You can't really do it full time. There are very, very few full time YouTubers, and even then, I think like some of the bigger ones like Cyberknight or whatever still have day jobs. It's just if you really want to make it in media and entertainment, don't do Yu-Gi-Oh, because it's just too small of a subculture and market. Like, in terms of how big I am compared to how big the biggest YouTuber is, like as a ratio, if I put that into any other game like Overwatch or World of Warcraft, I would probably be doing this for a living, just because of how much more money you'd be making. And obviously a lot of people would be like, oh, well, you're only doing it for money and stuff. And it's like, well, when you love one of your hobbies so much, because it did start out as just a fun like little hobby on the side, but if you love it that much, which I have grown to come, it would be nice to do full time, but there just isn't the money in it to do full time. So
I feel like when people say you're only doing it for the money, they don't understand. It's like, I have to live, dude. I have to pay rent. I have to pay for food. There was like, not to get depressing, but like before I had my channel, there was a time where I was working at my job and I had 63 cents consecutively in my bank account. I was eating bread sandwiches for dinner. I was fucking poor. Like, sure, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm doing it for the money. I want to eat. Also, I enjoy this far more than any regular job.
it's pretty good. That's like an Alter Guy score, right?
Yeah, it's an Alter. A certain somebody would have to beg to differ at how good it is. I'm just unfortunately, not to offend anyone, I just lost respect.
Compulsory evac the deck.
Yeah, that deck is actually pretty annoying to play against. It's just it's a no fun zone deck where it's like, I'm just gonna do a bunch of shit that's just not fun to play against.
I have enjoyed more stunny decks and stuff. Like there was a period in, what year must have this been? There was basically a time where it was like, oh yeah, it was triangle format. Yeah, so like Shaddoll, BA, Cliffort. There was a period where I played Yang Zing a lot, and that deck was like really, well, it was really fun. But it could do well because people are just really bad at playing against traps. Like the average player is really bad at playing through traps. So you play like the Yang Zing deck with like lots of traps, and you could make certain cards that were just like unbeatable for some matchups. Like BA was obviously like really big in triangle format. Well, it was technically like 1/3 of the meta. So you could make Yazi with Bixie, and it's like an untargetable monster that can't be trapped. It can be destroyed by battle because you make it with Bian as well. So you could do like really fun things like that. I enjoyed that a lot. You could like make Baxias on your opponent's turn versus Cliffort. Shaddoll, like you can make a Baxia as well, very very slowly because of Winda, but like you still could do it because back in those days, floaters weren't able to be outed. Like if you had a floater, like you were gonna be floating. Yeah, that was fun. Where did that come from? Why did I mention that? What were we talking about?
I don't fucking remember.
Oh, annoying decks. Yeah, so that was annoying to play against. So I just that was one of the few decks I also played a lot, was Yang Zing, because it just annoyed so many people, because like especially Burning Abyss players, because like Yazi was just unfucking outable.
What was the censorship on the Dark Link Row playmat? What was that? I want to know. Unless you can't mention it.
I'll tell you off the video. I shouldn't say it publicly.
Okay.
It was really bad. It was really, really bad. I'll say that.
All right, don't worry. We'll...
Considering how like the fact that I even talk about drugs and alcohol like publicly is bad enough from like a card gaming perspective, but that specifically on the mat was just, yeah. I can't believe I even uploaded it initially. Like no one noticed, and I quickly took it down and then re-uploaded the edited version. But yeah, it was really bad. I'll tell you after. All
right, no problem. We'll cut this part out so no one will hear. So this question, because that'll get people wondering and theorizing.
Oh, it's fine. Like that's good. Like they can wonder. Like that's the enigma.
Oh, that's the enigma. All right. It's staying in. Let's look through. Let's go back to the list. Let's see. What was your favorite iteration of BA?
So just before Necros came out, I think was probably the most fun. I think it's really close. It's tied with PK Fire. So BA was just before Necros came out. It was basically just like you played like every name and like no traps, and it was just 3 econ and like just a bunch of draw spells and stuff, and you just play like big BA. You just like try your best to like OTK your opponent by like econing their monsters and stuff. That was really fun. First YCS of Necros format, I took a BA there. And the plan was to kill Necros through Valk, because you can econ your own monster and put it to defense. I did that for like 3 rounds and I won all my Necros matchups until I realized, wait, econ doesn't target your own monsters, it only targets your enemy's monster, hence the name Enemy Controller. So I was like, okay, this is dumb. So I just dropped that day. But yeah, that was really fun. Like econing.
You felt bad you cheated 3 people.
Basically, because I'd like attack with Dante and they go Valk, and I go, okay, chain econ, turn my Dante to defense. And then the first guy who noticed this was just like, what are you talking about? Like, you can't do that. And I like read the card. I was like, oh, wow, this, no one told me. In testing, in the deck building process, in the lead up to the YCS, none of my friends noticed, and no one said anything. It's just bizarre. Like, it's so bizarre.
What is your theoretical worst cheating at an event? Theoretical. It may or may not have happened. We don't know.
Well, I told one story before. So at a locals many years ago, I have this friend called Tony, and we just wind each other up so much. Like, we just that's like our thing. We just like love winding each other up. So I thought it would be funny to play against his BA deck, and I'm playing Shaddolls, and it's like round whatever of a locals. So I go into my side deck, and I put my Denko and Shaddol Fusion under my mat, and then I pretend to side. And then he gives me a deck, I give him the deck, and I draw 3 cards, and then pull 2 cards out from under my mat, and it's Denko Fusion. And I was like, oh, I've opened this, Tony, sorry.
I win.
He's so fucking oblivious, like, it's so funny. He's so easy to cheat against. But yeah, that was one of my hypothetical theoretical cheats.
What is like a scrub ruling you've had with friends? What is your MST negates? Like, for a while, me and my friends thought you could.
Oh, this is so easy. This is so easy.
Me and my friends, we used to think we go by anime rules, where it was like we declare XZ, and I'd be like, okay, I'm maxing your declaration of XYZ.
I have so many stories of this, but basically, for the one from me anyway, I was playing Metal Foes. And I was activating Metal Foe's counter in the end phase for no reason whatsoever. I just flipped it so it'd be in the graveyard so I can add a scale back. In my mind, I genuinely thought I could just do that. I thought the way it worked was like, if a Metal Foes was destroyed this turn, then you could special. If not, so it was like lingering, so I could flip it in the standby, and then if they destroy something, I can special. I thought that's how, it's so dumb, it's so stupid. There's no, it's just unjust, but in my mind it worked. And the other one I wanted to tell as well, which is really funny. Shout outs to Danny. He's at a regional. He's playing against my friend Ryan, and he's got a spellbook deck. And Danny's playing, I can't remember what he's playing, but basically he's got DNA surgery. So spellbooks can't use like their good cards unless they control a spellcaster. So Ryan activates Spellbook of Secrets, and then Danny looks at him completely seriously, and he says, and this is with people watching because they're in time and stuff, and he looks at him and he says, "Target in deck?" What? He asked him what his Spellbook of Secrets target in deck was, and the idea was that, if he searches Master, then he can let him search Master and then flip DNA Surgery, which now means he's got a dead Master in his hand, or if he's going to search Fate, he has to flip DNA Surgery now, and he won't have a dead card. Because if he lets him search it, he flips DNA Surgery, and then he just chains Fate. So he wanted him to have a dead card. So he asked him completely seriously, target in deck for Spellbook of Secrets.
Did he answer him like? Because I know there's been talks to some people in my locals that are like, oh yeah, man, you just go to an event, especially in the later rounds. People are like so tired and don't know what the hell they're going on. They're like, so what's your hand like? And they just tell you what's in your hand.
Wait,
like,
so
there's this one scummy guy. He's a rule shark. He's an asshole. Or he would like he's somehow a judge. So I'm convinced that the judge test is fucking piss easy. He goes like, I'm a judge. But he doesn't know how any deck works, and he doesn't understand chain links, and tried to droll and lock a single reincarnation by itself and wouldn't let the guy draw. And it's like, no, that's not how it works.
Right, well.
And so he's just like, yeah, I just asked the guy, he's like, oh, what'd you just draw? And the guy just told him. He's like, oh, now I know what you're playing.
That's not even cheating, though. That's just like, whatever, right?
I consider that kind of cheating. That's kind of scummy. That's like, I don't know.
I was really into mind games at one point when I first started playing. I was like trying my best to just like look, like I was just googling like random like body language tips and stuff like that, just trying to find out ways to like just one up through body language. And one cool thing I found is that if I was gonna like blind MST a back row just to like maybe try push or something, yeah. I learned like you should never blind MST, by the way, unless they obviously have just one back row. But I used to blind MST, and the way I would do it was like I would put MST on the table and I would say MST and then like look at them. And normally what they would do is subconsciously your body and your hands like gravitate towards your most important set card. So they would like look at their most important set card or like touch it,
Yeah,
and then they would look up again and they would be like, "Oh, what are you targeting?" And then I would target the one that they looked at. So I thought that was like pretty smart of me, and it worked so well. Like you'd be surprised at how easy it was to like find the right target to MST.
Yeah, I love playing towards people's tendencies. Like certain people always place like certain cards in like the ends or in the middle. It's like, oh, I know you're gonna put that there. That's clearly it, and sure enough, it is. So those are always fun.
I love like the mind game thing because like some games you need to understand is like Yu-Gi-Oh is like just Yu-Gi-Oh. It's a card game. There is a degree of luck involved, and you need to try and get as much advantage of that as possible. And one of the ways that people really underestimate and don't pay much attention to is mind games, and is like table talk and tilting your opponent, and not like in a dickish way, like, you know, saying like, oh, by the way, you suck, I'm gonna beat you, like that's just terrible. But you know, finding ways to like just read your opponent better is like really important, and something that people should focus on a little bit more, because some games are just so unwinnable. The only way you can win is if your opponent just gives you the game, and you need to find ways for them to just give you the game by you know, fucking up, like if they activate an effect to like MST one of your back row, you can sort of like pick a back row for them. So you just like oh, this one, like pretend like you saw them look at it or something. Like there's just so many ways that you can like make your opponent do things for you through mind games and through just like the power of suggestion. What's the term for it? There's a word for it. It's like power of suggestion, or
I guess power suggestion. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
There's like so many ways to just make your opponent do things that you want them to, because you need to realize like you can't win every game based. Like if both players were to start the game with both their hands up, hands face up, you'd be able to see who would be the winner. So you have to play around that and like make your opponent misplay and force them to fuck up. And one way to do that is mind games.
What is one mechanic you wish that one deck has that another would? Like, for example, sometimes I wish that like inconsistent decks with really strong boss monsters that just can't get them out effectively had like a Sage with Eyes of Blue effect where you like ditch it and send one monster on the field to the grave to special summon a Blue Eyes from the deck. Oh,
so like you mean just one like card or one mechanic I wish a deck had that another had?
Yeah.
Okay. What have I been playing recently? The only like decks I feel that kind of need these things is like non-meta decks. So I guess one of my other favorite non-meta decks is probably like Ritual Beast, and I think that deck just really needs like a Rota.
Yeah, I think every deck should just have a Rota.
Yeah, like an e-call, like just search for Elder, because like that card is just so important.
Konami, please give Satellar Knights a Rota.
Hey, they did have a Rota.
Yeah, now it's
called Rota.
That deck is so inconsistent. Like it's like,
why the hell would you want to play Talonites? This deck's so shit. It's
because
it's so boring.
I just love shitting out. I love rank 4s. I just love shitting out rank 4 of the deck. It's just fun.
You know, when people play, like, everyone has like their fun deck that they like play around with and stuff, and I just don't understand when people like say like, oh yeah, my fun deck is like Talonites. It's like, why? Like, it has one play.
Because I like to be. Sometimes it's just like I like to turn my brain off. I like to summon Triver, rip a card out of the hand, set a Fog Blade, and a strike and pass.
Duncan played, of course, Duncan. He came up with this really funny Talonite hero build that played something Night and Day.
The fuck is that?
I don't. I'm gonna quickly Google this. It basically it's something to do with dark. Oh, Exchange of Night and Day. It's a trap card. So you can send a light warrior from your hand to the graveyard and then add a dark warrior, or vice versa. So you can like pitch like Deneb from your hand to add Shadow Mist, or you can pitch Shadow Mist to add Deneb.
Wait,
so yeah, it was like a
nutty,
dark light hero deck, warrior deck. So it was like Talonite heroes. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That sounds fun. I might try that after this.
Yeah, it's a continuous trap.
Horribly inconsistent, but fun.
Yeah,
they either need that or like a built-in double summon, like a Garnet, like a Seraph Knight, because like double summon sucks. I don't want to run double summon. That's a brick.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just gonna play more stupid decks if this format is like boring or whatever.
Yeah,
I really want to play Zephyra, but like the extra deck is so expensive because you need like Electromite, and that's like the most important card. And You know,
you got a link for Zephyr. What do you mean? You got Metaltron that's got this dumbest fucking summoning requirement ever. Why?
Yeah, it's pretty tragic. It didn't even need a broken effect. It just needed to not need like so many materials. Like, wow.
It didn't need to be some. It could have just been 3 Zephyr cards. Okay, I could shit out 3 Zephyrs or 3.
Oh wait, what does it need? Is it even worse?
It's. Let me look it up. I'm pretty sure it is 3 from the extra deck.
Right.
I could be completely wrong. Its summoning conditions are 2 or more monsters that were special summoned from the extra deck. Is link 3.
It's like an Electromite plus like something like a Zafrani that you specialed from your extra. Which,
yeah.
It could work. I mean, but yeah, it's pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, it's. I wish it was just like a link 2 or. I mean, it looks cool for what it's worth, I guess. That's something. It's always something. Let's see. I know you have Mercy as your desktop wallpaper. So who is your Overwatch main?
Well, it was Mercy for like. Well, it's not like it was my main. It's just like you get fucking pigeonholed into playing Mercy because like if you're a support main, you have to play Mercy because like she was just so good before the nerfs.
Before they, I know they changed. I haven't played since the first Junkenstein, so I don't know all the changes.
Oh, I mean, do you know Moira?
Yeah,
vaguely.
I think that's the David Bowie looking one, right?
Yeah. So she's my main mostly. I like playing Moira and Zen. Those are my favorite. I'm a support main. I like playing those. But like last season, I was I just had to play Mercy just because like she was so strong. Like, and the other support would just pick something else that they wanted to play, like Moira. So you get pigeonholed into playing Mercy. So I like her. She's fun. Like, people make fun of her because it's like, oh, she's so British. She's like the Clifford of Overwatch. Like anyone can play her, but I think the skills needed to succeed at Mercy are different to the skills needed to succeed at like a soldier. Like, yeah, she isn't click and aim and like get badass headshots. She's more game sense and she's more strategy and it's more planning and more like a shot caller. Like you could be a shot caller as a Mercy just because like you can see more of the field and you're not as fixated on your mechanics as you are as trying to stay alive and stuff. So
yeah,
it's a very different play style to like playing something like Soldier where you have to like mechanically like, because I'm not very good mechanically at like just clicking and aiming basically. Like watching me on McCree is fucking tragic.
Yeah, all the aiming people. I play tanks. It's the strategy I like to call no finger, no brain. Where I just play Reinhardt and just put up my shield like no finger, no brain. I'm good.
But yeah, I really like Moira, so she's been my main for a while just because I do really like the I like her fade ability and I like the orbs. And just the close quarter combat thing, you can get really close, you can get behind enemy lines and like finish someone off who's really low and then fade out. It's like she's very offensive. Like she's an offensive healer, which is like really fun to play. Is
there one Yu-Gi-Oh channel that you find specifically in this community that's underrated?
Underrated? Like I don't watch as much YouTube as you'd expect from a YugiTuber because like we should really be watching each other a lot more for like, you know, just staying on top of like our peers and getting ideas from each other and stuff like that. But I really don't watch this anywhere near as much as I should. So I'm not super up to date. One channel that I really loved was Kamina Cats, just because I thought like the comedy value was amazing. It was just so entertaining. And I guess it's probably been a while and some people might not even know who that is right now, but he, like, you've probably seen quite a few 101 videos around, like how to play X Deck 101, or even my series Inside the Mind of like a ABC player is my most recent one. That's all inspired from Kamina Cat, and he was the like first one to that, and I just thought those were like the funniest videos ever. So yeah, in terms of underrated tuber, I don't know, but like that kind of style is like what's really missing from like YugiTubing. Like, yeah, Yugi No does a lot of skits and stuff, but he's not underrated. Like, he is, like, he's popular. He is where he's at. Like, yeah, just, I think, and I really value comedy and entertainment because I feel like there isn't much to fucking get from this game in terms of fun. So,
yeah, man, there's, this video will definitely it'll probably go out before, after this video, or the video I'm about to talk about, where it's like, people go, there's not much to do with a pack opening, and I'm about to say, oh yeah? Well, can you claim that your pack opening has waterboarding in it? Hell no.
What the fuck? I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'll explain after. I gotta spice up. I gotta spice up the pack opening game, and I'm ready to take the world by storm.
That's what we need. We need like more comedy and humor. And if I was to actively think of who does comedy on YouTube right now for Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like me and like Yugi No, and I can't really think of anyone else.
Rank 10,
like just purely based on I suppose rank 10 actually. But his videos are like serious in a sense because they are like really good and informative, but it's not like, well, they're just full of skits. Rank 10 definitely works for sure.
Simo occasionally has like the one-off, and so does Nim Nim, but they're not like consistent comedy.
Nim Nim's pretty funny. His humor is so like awkward and like cringy. It's like very it's very British.
It's cringy in the best way that I love it, where it's just like
he's got this like British humor, which like obviously I'd really appreciate because it's just like very tongue in cheek. I do like that about his humor.
So we're gonna wrap it up now. We're gonna start winding down. We are at an hour and 30 minutes. I don't know how the hell I got here in 30 minutes without a lot of awkward pausing, because this is probably the one with the least yet. So hell yeah. But most people don't notice the awkward pausing because I cut most of it out in post. So this is where you plug all of your things: your Tinder, your Grindr, your MySpace, your YouTube, your Twitter, your Twitch, your Friendster, your Justin TV, your livestream.ou. Let the people know where they can find you.
Well, YouTube is Farfa, like the Burning Abyss monster. You can watch my videos like Table 500 is my I guess most like known series, where I just look through people's replays of terrible deck ideas they've done. Cvit himself has sent in Heart of the Underdog Ignites.
I'm working on some new ones. There's some in the labs right now that are spicy.
The lab. So we've done some like pretty funny ones like that. And yeah, I do that like basically every single day. There's a Table 500 for you to watch. I do Inside the Mind of, which is just like pretty much like a comedy sketch of various decks. And I do a discussion every now and then as well. My Twitch, I do stream quite a lot, twitch.tv/FarfaYGO. Yeah, like we usually stream the Table 500 live as well, and just like all kinds of just random banter. Like, yeah, my friends are way more entertaining than I am, so like you should definitely come along and enjoy it. I have a Twitter as well. It's just, I think it's FarfaYGO. I'm not sure. I don't use it that much. Discord, you can find me on the Farfa Discord. Link will be in the description of my YouTube video. There's an invite link there. And yeah, that's basically it. I have an email as well if you want to contact me, farfaYGO@gmail.com. And yeah, Table 500 is pretty much what I'm known for. So if you really like shit decks and that are doing like weird combos and funny plays, then, or if you just like laughing at people's misfortune and misplays, then you'll definitely like my channel.
Oh, I completely forgot. It just completely sparked my memory. Is from one of your older videos, the old deck constructions. What has been your favorite one? Like the Dark Magician Train deck that did nothing?
From like Table 500?
No, from like those deck construction challenges that you streamed. I don't know. Would you consider, was that Table 500 considered back in the day where you would like live stream with trying to think who else you'd have on, because sometimes you'd have like pro players. You just like have people send in and you just like rate it. It basically like the rating section.
Oh
of Table 500.
Fuck. It was yeah. So I used to stream this rate my deck thing. So every format I'd be like, oh, rate my deck July format 2016 or something. And me and my friends, we just go through everyone's deck list that was sent in, and yeah, just rate them, and then we would face them off in like a final 8, and people would vote for them. And the one that sticks to my mind most was this fucking crazy deck that would basically it would blind second, and you would make Red Eyes Flare Metal. You would give give Red Eyes Flare Metal to your opponent with Shien Spy. And then you would synchro into Beals, and then you would attack the Red Eyes Flare with Beals. No, it was the other way around. You give them Beals, and then you attack with your own Red Eyes Flare Metal. And Beals would trigger to gain attack or something.
Oh, I remember this one, actually.
Which would trigger Flare Metal to gain 500. And then the activation of Flare Metal burning for 500 would trigger Beals, which would then trigger Flare Metal. And then you burn them to death by like Yeah, so you Shien Spy, I can't remember which one you give them now, but yeah, you basically kill them with Flare Metal, turn 1, by giving them a monster. That was just the craziest thing ever.
I remember you guys like freaking out, like, you gave your Beals!
So, yeah, like when we almost skipped it, because we were looking at the deck list and we're like, this is just some terrible synchro deck, this is terrible. And then someone pointed out, like, why is he playing Shien Spy? And then we just like looked at it, we fixated it for like so long, we're like, why does this deck play Shien Spy? And then like we realized, and like people in the Twitch chats realized, like, oh, you give them fucking Flare Metal. No, you give them Beals and then you kill them with Flare Metal. That was insane. Like, it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in Exodia. It was so bad. It was so like out there. It reminded me of Tainted Wisdom's channel, which is really old and maybe people don't remember who he is. But he has videos of him giving his opponent Exodia. Yeah, there's like a combo that you can give your opponent Exodia, so that's quite funny.
So now we are going to wrap up. I'm going to plug myself as the sellout fuck that I am. You can find me at Twitter at Cvit_. You can follow me or subscribe to me at my channel, which is youtube.com/Cvit. Follow me on Twitch, which I don't stream currently right now because my internet is so shit, but I'm yelling at the clouds that is Time Warner Cable and telling them I want more than sub 1 megabyte upload, and hope that they will listen to me, and hopefully we could start streaming again, maybe me editing videos or some other weird stuff that I have marinating in the oven. But yeah, if you do like my videos, you could maybe consider becoming a patron to help support the show. Same with Farfa. I don't know if you mentioned your Patreon at all. No,
yeah.
You do have one. You forgot to mention it.
Patreon/Farfa, I think. I don't know, just Google it. Give me money if you want. If you don't want, it's fine. If you give me money, it's fine. If you don't want it, it's also fine.
Yeah, that's my motto, is if you like it, tip, but if you don't like it, don't tip.
Yep.
So thank you all for stopping by, and until next time, peace.
See ya.